Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? There is snow on the ground for my birthday. It is April 12th, 2025, which means I'm 57 years old. And I have not seen snow here in Connecticut in April since, man, I think I was in grade school or junior high school. So it was probably the early 80s or late 70s, the last time I saw snow in April. And I don't know if it snowed quite this late. At least I can remember. That's how it was. But this is great. Snow for your birthday, how good is that? So I'm checking out Sue's backyard right now. And so it's a little bit odd, man. It's 57 years old. I can't imagine that. And certainly don't feel 57, although I've been back in the gym, and I'm definitely feeling 57 as far as how much that aches. But it's long overdue, so I'm glad I'm back doing that. And I tell you what, it's funny because I remember, if you're of an age, you can remember like when we used to think about the year 2000 and thinking to ourselves, my God, I'm going to be so old. I'll be 32 in the year 2000. That's so old. And that was so long ago. So look at this. This is great. Exhilarating. But you don't realize just how young people in their 50s really are until you get there or until you're just about there. And I don't mean that, just because you're trying to make light of where you are. But just that, as when you're younger, I remember especially looking at people in their 50s and they just seem so old and they just many of them acted so old. That's one of the things I've noticed with the people I grew up with is some of them just, when I run into them, some of them just got old. Some of them got old physically, but some of them just got old mentally. And something happened and they started behaving just like those fuddy-duddies did when we were kids. And, that's something I don't want to ever have happen because it's, why would you do that? You might as well act young for the rest of your, for your life because, and I don't mean childish, but I mean, with that sense of wonder and enjoying things and exhilaration and, happiness and all that kind of stuff, right? This is the one shot we have. Why just get all dried up and raisiny and, The other thing I noticed, though, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but 60 seems to be this great age of bifurcation. You go one of two ways. What I mean is, as I got, in my 40s yeah, it's definitely I noticed this by the time I was 50. 60 seems to be this age where people kind of go one of two ways physically. Either you run into them and, or you meet somebody and they say they're 60 and you're like, oh, I thought you were 90. or they say they're 60 and you're like, man, I thought you were in your 40s. I can't believe that. You look great. And, I'm sure some of that's genetics, but I believe a lot of that's just lifestyle and how we take care of ourselves, which is one of those reasons I'm back in the gym and back trying to eat healthily because I was starting to feel like crap. Well, actually, more than starting. So, but I remember, man, being 40 was the only age that really bothered the heck out of me, like a lot, for some reason. And actually, 30 didn't bother me. I felt like people started taking me seriously. 35 kind of bothered me because I was like, oh man, I'm almost 40. And so every year after that bothered me a little bit more. But then 40 was kind of anticlimactic, actually. So I think the 30s, the late 30s, that march up to 40. After that, 50 seemed to be like no big deal. And I think I'm just starting to feel a little bit more of that, oh my God, I'm almost 60. Although I told Susan last night, I'm practically 70. She says, you got a strange way of doing arithmetic. I said, well, actually, I'm a lot closer to 100 than I am to 0. But at the end of the day, 57 is not that old. There's a lot of life left to live. And it even gets to snow for us. Come on. This is great. So, go play in the snow. I'm going to have some sushi with the family, and we got a friend up here from Puerto Rico, so I'm going to hang out with Roberto as well. That should be fun. And then I got a gig tonight. A gig that's right next to my house. I wouldn't have taken a gig this evening, except it's right next to my house. And the last time I played there, literally during set break, went home, walked the dog, I think, or fed the cats, and switched bases because I decided I want to play this other bass instead. That was really cool. And the car didn't even get warm. So, good times. Enjoy life. Go play in the snow.